Welcome to the good afternoon and welcome to the Big Show. I'm Paul Zeise. The Big Show goes off every single day at about 5 o'clock. We try and do it. We always are trying to make sure that we hit whatever the topics of the day are, whether it's the Steelers, the Pirates, the Penguins, or sometimes Pitt football or basketball as well. But at the end of the day, we really just try and hit it all. We try and have a good time when we do it. We try and make it a little bit entertaining and also informative, and hope that when you join us, that you are always feeling like it's a good experience. We typically talk a lot about the Steelers, but we've talked a lot about the Steelers, and the one team we've kind of neglected a little bit, and maybe rightfully so, is the Pirates. And the reason that I would say that is because the Pirates are a team that right now are an organization that really just sort of, I would say the best way to say it, they don't have a clue what they're trying to do. I mean, if they had a plan, I guess I would feel better about what they're doing, but there's no way you can make the argument that they have a plan. And mostly because they just sort of seem to stumble around and kind of find a way. What just happened? The Clemente Wall, for instance, I think is a great one, a great example. This should be something that's celebrated and always a positive. Somehow it turned into a negative when they decided they were going to take the 21 logo down and put up, was it Coke or whatever it was. And then, the thing with, people buying bricks, that blew up in their face. I mean, the most viral video going on, social media today about the Pirates has nothing to do with Oneil Cruz hitting a home run or Paul Skenes striking people out, or Brian Reynolds hitting a ball, that wins a game, or David Bednar striking somebody out to win a game. No, that's not really what happens. The most viral video today about the Pirates, and maybe this is a symbol of the Pirates and where they're at and what they do, is of he wasn't an usher. They made sure to clarify he wasn't. I don't think he was an usher, but one of their game day employee, the game day operation employees, taking his belt off and smacking somebody with it. That is what basically we're talking about. If you think about it, that's the most viral video when it comes to the Pirates. It's of a game day operations guy getting into a fist fight with two drunk fans. And, at first he's punching the one guy, and then all of a sudden it calms down a little bit, and the guy spits at him. And the next thing you know, he takes his belt off and he's hitting him in the legs with it. I don't know that I've ever seen that before. Hell, when I was 21, 22 years old, I might have said, that's a pretty good move. I'll have to use that the next time I get into a little bit of a skirmish. But at the end of the day, what we're really talking about with the Pirates is always the wrong things. That's the toughest thing about the Pirates and being a part of them, and being, someone who covers them and someone who has to, observe them and follow them. They cannot get out of their own way, ever. I mean, think about the biggest stories about the Pirates over the last couple of, 4 or 5 days. A drunk fan falling onto the field and getting hurt, and a game day operations guy swinging his belt at a patron. Those are the two biggest stories with respect to the Pirates, because quite frankly, you don't want to talk about the baseball right now. And again, I think when we talk about this organization, People can say whatever they want to say about Ben Cherington and Derek Shelton, and I'm sure they're both very smart baseball guys. But we're in year 6, and we're talking about a guy taking his belt off and hitting a fan with his belt because we don't want to talk about the fact that the product on the field is so bad. I mean, if you look at it, I don't need to see Tommy Pham play ever again. I don't know why you keep running him out there. I don't really need to see Adam Frazier play again. What are we doing here? The problem is the best players on the team right now, probably Brian Reynolds. Guess what? He's been here for a long time. He's a 30-something. Andrew McCutchen left for like 5 or 6 years. He's a 30-something on his last legs. That's the problem with the Pirates. This organization has sort of made a parody of itself, and I don't quite understand why. Anyway, one organization that seems to always do it right is the Washington Wild Things, and of course, our good friend Tony Buselli, who is the general manager, also played baseball, also grew up in Franklin regional area. He went to Franklin Regional, grew up in Murraysville, so he is clearly a long-suffering Pirates fan like the rest of us. And Tony, first of all, how are you doing today? Hopefully all is well with you. I know the rain has not made it easy to conduct business as you'd like, but you continue to forge forward.
Yeah, we've been very good. We've actually been in spring training right now, so everything's been going pretty smooth. Actually, we've been dodging raindrops, got all of our exhibition games in. And yeah, we actually have a couple high school teams on the field right now, so playing a little doubleheader. So trying to help out the local community with some of that stuff of just utilizing our field as need be. But we'll be opening the season here on the road on Friday and get ready for some baseball here at the stadium.
I think that it is going to be, a good year for you guys again because you guys do things the right way. Do you feel like you've got a good roster in place?
Yeah, I think we're leaning on the experience of our position players. We're returning the MVP. We're returning the batting champion here in the Frontier League. We're returning an individual who's going to set our franchise record in home runs in a career. So pretty much 1 through 5 in our lineup, or 1 through 6 through our lineup, is returning players. And so that's a good start for us with where we were offensively. Bullpen-wise, we got a brand new bullpen. We all new faces, all new roles for a bunch of these guys. So that's going to be kind of the spot to follow for us. But hopefully get off to a good start and have a crew here that's going to score some runs early and often to kind of take a little bit of pressure off the guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is when, you seem to have a lot of returning players, so that probably is a good thing for continuity's sake, but also, kind of getting, you got guys that are used to playing in that league and understand what it takes to win.
Yeah, definitely here. I mean, we lean into our culture and we lean into winning heavily. I know we've talked about it before. Our organization, we're only here for that level. We're only here for getting production and results. So these guys understand as much as I tell them and our management tells them, you're only as good for us here if you're helping us win. If you're not helping us win, we're going to look in other directions and move pretty quick. That's just the nature of the business. That's how I think the sport should be played or indicative of playing, is kind of getting those guys who are either here to help you or they're not here at all. So we have a good group of veteran leadership in there who understand kind of the standard of what we've been doing and how we've been structured as an organization. And I mean, rubber hits the road here quickly. So kind of see what happens when you roll out the balls and bats and hold them responsible from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is when you say accountability, I mean, I imagine that you have a high standard.
I think sports are meant to be that way. I mean, fortunately, you see it in a lot. We're pretty much in a unique little vacuum here because we don't have feeder systems. We don't have AAA. We don't have the AHL. We don't have some system below us with guys kind of sitting there waiting. anytime we find somebody or we sign somebody, they're a free agent on the street. So it's very interesting to kind of have that market without kind of more control of outside players. So we preach that. We would love for everyone who's going to be here with us from opening day. We have a kid from Deer Lakes this year. I haven't even told you. We have a local kid here who's going to be joining us, a Cal U kid. So we have a nice Pittsburgh connection here, and try to hold them to the standards of like, hey, this is what we've been about. We have been a winning organization here the last, I don't know, since 2021. We've prioritized ourselves as winning the division title in 3 or 4 years. So let's either win and dominate and put up more banners, or we'll just find somebody else who can.
Well, I think the one thing I would say to you is your opener, home opener is when?
We're May 13th, so next Tuesday.
Okay, so you got till a few days to get on the road, see what your team looks like, and hopefully you come back. Now, is it typically like major leagues? Like, do you sell out your opener generally?
No, it's a little different. That's one thing kind of unique to our clientele and kind of our product. We don't have that lore of opening day, that kind of nostalgia that continues with it. But we have a really great set of promotions for opening day with our new naming rights here at the stadium, brand new turf here. We're going to have a pretty strong crew of the EQT staff and family coming out here to kind of bless out the field of EQT Park here for the next couple of years. And we'll have a good turnout of between fans, but then also friends and family of players going to be coming out and kind of seeing these guys as they're introduced for the first time as kind of our opening day roster. And being on a Tuesday is tough. We understand, hey, there's not that normal travel we would get on a weekend crowd. It's a little bit tougher on a Tuesday night, but it should be a good time. I know we've been looking at numbers here for the first set of games here through May. Look forward to having a really good crowd. Look forward to kind of showcasing all the new stuff at the ballpark, new food, new seating spots, new turf, new activities, new the between inning stuff that we talk about. It's our time to kind of unveil all that stuff and kind of build that excitement all over again.
What about, you said new food, but, the thing that I always think is your biggest hit with the kids is the $1 milk and cookies. Are we doing that again?
Absolutely. We just did it Sunday. We had a doubleheader here. Free exhibition game. People could come, experience us first time, return, or whatever they wanted to do. And we did the milk and cookies, and I guess, like it or not, we ran out of cookies.
Yeah.
It's just the line. I mean, everyone had a blast. The line was typical, down all the way third base line. We didn't even do a last call for it. Where it's like, my guys were like, hey, no need to do a last call. We ran out. We gave them all. We sold them all. So we'll do another exhibition game tomorrow. So we have a game tomorrow, free exhibition game for anybody who wants to stop out. We play actually a team in our league from Ottawa will be coming down here to play us. And we'll people can swing out, experience what we're all about. I think the weather looks to be really good. And, free tickets, come out, see the milk and cookies, $1 for the cookie and a pint of milk. And I'll be up there playing the tunes and having a good time for a nice little dress rehearsal before we open here next week.
Other thing is, isn't your beer really cheap?
I mean, certainly compared to the standards of any ballpark anymore. I mean, I don't like the idea anywhere. I mean, just me as a consumer going anywhere and spending $16, $18 for a tall boy, 24 ouncer is it's tough. That's not, I mean, I think the good experiences of being at the ballpark with a cheap hot dog and a cheap beer, like that's kind of how the game was built. And those are kind of where a lot of core memories with friends and family are made. So, every Thursday we do $1 pints of Coors Light. So we'll pump through those kegs pretty strong and pretty quick. And we do $1 hot dogs every Wednesday. So we try to find any way we eliminate any hurdle for people to go to the ballpark and bring a crew together and walk out of there saying, hey man, I only spend $10, $15 on food. That's that's a good way to spend your time in the summer.
Well, that is absolutely what I like the most about your product. Besides the fact that you guys win, which is saying something about baseball in this city, and but also I think it's just so cost effective for your family. You know what I mean?
That's the most important thing for me. As I've been here for 13 years now, we're into the third generation spot where people who came when they were 7, 8, 9 years old are coming back in their 20s or 30s, and hey, my grandpa took me here. It was the last game I ever went with him, or blah blah blah. I mean, the stories are, we get emails all the time, and now they're bringing their kids or their grandkids, and that stuff of just being keeping those things rolling, because like you said, the apathy, the frustration of hey, do we really want to go to a game? Do we really want to spend $400 or $500 to do this and continue it? Those traditions are really important. Those are why sports continue. The lineage of things, the baseball gloves being passed down, those things, the pennants being passed down from family to family, like that stuff's really important. And we can do our small part of just keeping things affordable and being inviting and not discouraging, I guess, at the end of the day. Like we want to do everything we can, and whether it's a win, whether it's fireworks here, we'll do everything we can to give you a lasting memory and walk away here not looking at your wallet saying we can't do that for a couple months.
Well, I think you grew up in this area and you're a Pirates fan or whatever, and you observe them and you've seen them, and you're a general manager of a team, so I can sort of ask you some questions probably about the Pirates and get really good answers from you because you kind of know what you're looking at and everything else. Logistically speaking, I don't know if you've ever had to do this, but logistically speaking, there's a school of thought that firing Derek Shelton would absolutely change nothing, that firing a baseball manager in the season doesn't do a thing to help the team because it's going to be the same players and all the other stuff I hear. But as an organization, at some point, don't you have to do something to show your fans that you're actually engaged and trying a little bit?
I mean, there's certainly value in showing your fans you have a pulse on the situation, and you're listening and you're aware. I think that's always part of it. I mean, no player or manager or coach or front office staff ever wants to lose their job, and we understand kind of what we're getting into, but certainly even the reflection to the players of, hey, what we're doing and what we're rolling out here is unacceptable. So certainly managerial, coaching staff, all those type of shakeups are fair and reasonable with because it's a results-based business. There are players who lose jobs because of what they're doing. So coaches and any field staff are responsible on the same level. Certainly a little bit different in front office, general managers and those type of things are a lot tougher because the bus is already moving and there are a lot of nuances within that role. But I mean, you look at it and it's been pretty widely spoken. I mean, you're in 6 years into a new regime and there's frustrations with results and it's understandable from a fan's standpoint, player standpoint, ownership standpoint, any collective evaluation of it. You're 6 years in and if you're not in a position you want to be in, you got to start questioning that. When is it time to move on?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing to me. To me, it's not necessarily that you're making a change, even for just making a change sake, or you're trying to, but you've got to at least try and get some sort of a spark. I mean, what's going on is not working, and it's getting worse. And this looks like a team that's just kind of going through the motions. I mean, do you agree with me on that? They look like a team that's just sort of going through the motions. At some point, you have to shake something up, right?
Yeah, I think sooner or later you need to pull the rug somewhere. You need to be able to shift gears, you shift focuses, shift agenda, shift styles of play. Do something, whether it's a lineup build, playing more veterans, less veterans. I mean, that's always been discussion points of let's see the young guys play. Let's see these things change. I know, I mean, talking to other organizations, I don't know how the Pirates are with a lot of this stuff. I know other organizations, they build their lineups, their day-to-day lineups simply on analytics. and there's math equations or statistics that dictate how a lineup's built. I can't speak to how the Pirates do theirs, but some of those things need to change, whether it's giving Shelton the full reign of a lineup, whether that's giving it the other way. Let's let the analytics run it. However you want to make those shifts, you need to at least kind of, throw something into a box and shake it up. It's clearly not working in terms of the results you're wanting for. There's no way, like I said, 6 years into a regime, you're getting the results or even the pipeline of prospects or the individual talent guys that you've kind of brought up, that you're getting the day-to-day results from them. So that's Mike Tomlin's a perfect example of the self-scouting stuff during the bye week. There's certainly a lot of self-scouting and self-evaluation that needs to be done of making changes here from June. You're only May 6th, so you have a lot of baseball in front of you. You can't keep doing the same thing June, July, and August and expect it to change just because it's a new month or a new day.
No, there's no question about it. I think it's really going to be, a long season, just because I don't really see a lot of answers on their roster. You mentioned some analytics and stuff. What in your mind are the numbers that matter the most when you're looking at what wins and what loses?
It's so skewed, and so everybody has their own little niches of what they look for and what they like. You can really go down rabbit holes and start layering in things and saying, the wars of the world that are kind of all encompassing. I'm not going to really say one number dictates somebody's overall value. I at least know what for me and what I value as an organization. Starting with kind of a natural percentage of extra base hits, because realistically speaking, if you're going to have guys who hit singles, you need 3 singles to score a run. You're not gonna be able to single guys to death, and just the natural math of an inning where you're going to get 3 hits in it is not very common. So if you're able to get a walk and a double and score a run, so I look for guys, at least for me, 30% extra for extra base hit potential. So beyond that, and then the pitchers who are throwing strikes. We're in a little bit different of a realm where we still value balls being put in play and some stuff like that. But obviously, a lot of the self-damage stuff of giving up walks, you can live with the solo shot home runs. You can live with getting singled to death. Like I said, if a team's going to hit 4 singles in a row off you, more power to them. Statistically, that's not going to really be a common trend. But just finding that extra base hit potential, and obviously, I don't watch a ton of Major League Baseball on a day-to-day basis when I'm in season. I see some stuff, I read numbers, I watch things. But when you hear, I guess statistically, the Pirates being like among the lowest in like slugging and extra base hits, there's a reason why you struggle to score runs. You can't single people to death and produce. It's very, very challenging to do that, regardless of high school, college, pro pitching, to go out there and hit multiple singles and drive and runs. So things like that, those damage RBIs, those explosive RBIs, doubles, triples, home runs, the multiple run producing results are certainly the most valuable.
And I think that's the thing. Probably every organization values things a little differently than you. But at the end of the day, what drives me the most crazy about Derek Shelton and the Pirates, they have a different lineup every single night. Nobody figures out where they're supposed to hit. You know what I mean? Because, Cruz is the 1-hitter tonight. He's the 3-hitter. Tomorrow night, he's the 7-hitter. You know what I mean? And it's all analytics driven. And to me, I feel like maybe I'm old school, but there still has to be some semblance of guys fitting into their role and sort of settling in. And I don't see that when I see a team that has a different lineup every night.
And that's the problem where I guess when you're searching for more answers than you have, that's where it gets tough. Like fortunate organizations or organizations kind of on certain paths. I can speak to like our situation. When we know what we have 1 through 5 or 1 through 6, that is a recipe for success. When you have proven commodities and you can just let them play in those key roles or those key spots in the lineup, That's ideal when you can just let them roll in. Sure, you're going to tweak 7, 8, 9 based upon lefty-righty matchups, giving a catcher a day off, moving the shortstop to second base a day, and working another middle infield guy. Absolutely, that's kind of the natural flow. But same way with the rotation, your horses need to be your horses. If you don't have that 1 through 4, 1 through 5 that you can rely on and say, this guy's going to drive in 80, this guy's going to drive in 60, this guy's going to hopefully hit 20 doubles, 30 doubles. Those are the kind of how the building blocks are in place. And like you said, when you're changing who's hitting the 2-hole, how does a guy hit behind Oneil Cruz? How does Oneil like to run? Okay, does he want a lefty up there to get more fastball so the first baseman can't, or so the catcher doesn't have a great view of his jump? Does who wants to hit behind him of hitting breaking balls, and who has the ability to hit the ball the other way in the 4-hole to kind of go first to third? Those are situational things and conceptual things that not every player can be plugged and played into doing that. It's try to use analogies of other sports. You can't just plug in a wide receiver to work with a quarterback and know how he wants his slant run. The quarterback sees it a certain way, the running back sees it a certain way, or the wide receiver sees it a certain way, and all of a sudden people aren't queued up and the pass is behind and not in sync. So the same thing offensively in baseball is still involved. It's still that relationship player to player is still as meaningful as it is on the football field.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things that I've started to see, maybe, I don't know, it's anecdotal, but it feels like there's a movement sort of to go back, not all the way back, but to get guys back to, hitting the ball and not necessarily trying to jack the ball out of the park every time you swing. For a long time, the launch angle stuff and everything else, it was like, okay, yeah, it doesn't matter if he strikes out 500 times in a season. If he hits 60 home runs, that's all we really care about. Do you see that? I mean, obviously you're at the grassroots level, but do you see that there is at least a shift on some level where teams, minor league teams, major league teams, baseball in general, are starting to value contact hitting again?
I think the first thing that's starting to feed right into it is certainly speed. So when speed starts kind of coming back into the game, that opens the door for a lot more value on contact. So, I mean, you have obviously stolen bases kind of are starting to spark up a little bit back again of taking those risks and being able to run a little bit more with catching be a little bit down. But you certainly have some organizations in the major leagues that are returning kind of the traditional leadoff hitters that we're used to. The guys who are going to with contact, the guys who are going to walk, the guys who are going to put the ball in play a little bit more, hit the ball the other way a little bit more. There was a trend, I agree, 5-7 years ago, the trends of like the Oneil Cruzes in the leadoff spot, the guys who are going to hit 20 to 30 home runs and be a little bit more flashy. That became more of a niche. And then now you're kind of seeing the Brewers implementing some guys who are more of the grinded out leadoff guys and the wear down pitchers. I think that's indicative of kind of the pitch counts too, that we have kind of the cat and mouse game. Guys aren't throwing 110 pitches anymore. So if you have the ability to put guys in the lineup that can waste 7, 8, 9 pitches in that bat, that definitely has an impact on the Paul Skenes of the world being able to go 6, 7, 8 innings. So it's always that cat and mouse of how it figures out. And I think I'm glad at least there's some anecdotal movements of it, and you see certain players returning and making lineups that maybe weren't the 30-plus home runs guys that were in the late 2010s, early 2020s. So hopefully that continues. I think it makes the game more exciting. And yeah, the colleges and the minor league guys have to kind of adjust along the way.
Yeah, I'm just saying when I look at it, from afar, it just feels to me like teams have figured out that not everyone's going to be, a guy that jacks home runs, and because of that, you got a lot of guys that are striking out and popping up for no reason at all. you're starting to see more guys actually hit the ball to the opposite field a little bit. You're starting to see guys, even lay down bunts here and there, and that to me makes the game better, like you said. But also, it flies in the face of all of these like advanced analytics that suggest, you want home runs or nothing.
Yeah, I think it's hopefully either they're learning, either they're getting more numbers in, telling them that, hey, this isn't working, or, hey, we don't have the personnel to do this, which, I mean, that's part of it too. I mean, as guys keep throwing harder and secondary pitches keep getting good, I mean, you can't being able to just kind of hit tanks and have a lineups just to hit bombs. And you have to pay those dudes. You have to pay those guys exorbitant amounts of money to hit home runs. So it's a lot cheaper and more cost efficient to find guys who are table setters than the dudes hitting 30 bombs and driving an 80. So I think it's a learning curve. I mean, I don't like it. I'm glad I don't have to run math equations all day to build rosters. Like, I just want to go out there and play. And I think I'd rather have a lineup of dudes hitting 30 doubles and 10 home runs and stealing 20 bags than to sit out here and try to piecemeal it together with 3 or 4 boppers here and little rabbits around them getting on base. So, yeah, I mean, I'm glad. I was concerned about where the game was going with it. It's you see these ebbs and flows, and hopefully it goes back and swings the other way, just because I think a lot of the old school people, the 70s, 80s, early 90s style of baseball that kind of I grew up and I enjoyed and I want to see come back, because I think that's only the future.
Tony, it's been a lot of fun, buddy. We'll do it again soon. And again, they open up next Tuesday, their home opener, so you can go enjoy some baseball and actually see a team that might actually win. Yeah, very fan-friendly environment, as we talked about, but also a very cost-effective environment for families. So, Tony, we'll talk to you again soon, sir. Thank you.
I mean, Paul, anytime.
All right, my man. That's Tony Buselli. Of course, the game's always on at Archie's. Get down to Archie's on Carson Street. Archie's, home of 80-cent wings, Monday through Thursday, home of the Paul Zeise grilled cheese sandwich. We always try and just have different voices on from time to time. And, well, you know what? Tony's as good as anybody at breaking down baseball. Hopefully, the Pirates figure out how to win tonight with Paul Skenes on the mound. But as we saw in their last game, that isn't always the case. We will do it again tomorrow. As always, we do it, Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, and then we see about Friday. But we'll do it again tomorrow. Enjoy your night.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.